Hello and welcome to ARK Survival Evolved. We're on the Extinction map and today we're out and about looking for Tapejaras. Or more specifically I'm looking for a pair of high level Tapejaras so that I can breed them together and try and get some decent stats out of them. And that the offspring that I get from them, I want to be able to imprint one and give it a tech saddle. The reason being is I'm quite keen on taking on the Desert Titan. I mean, I've already done the Forest Titan. I mean, that's pretty straightforward because that just plods around on the ground. But the Desert Titan's up there in the sky. So you're talking about, I mean, maybe the Snow Owl, for instance. There's the Managama. You've got the option of the Tapejara, the Quetzal. I mean, they're all. You obviously, if you want to get up there, you're going to need an aerial mount. And the good thing about the Tapejara is that it can hover, but it's also got the tech saddle. So the idea is I want to be able to get myself a decent Tapejara to take in there and see how that compares, because I haven't tried the actual taking on the Desert Titan yet, but at some point I want to be able to fight it and to see what kind of loot you can get, but I also want to be able to tame it. So I mean the Tapejara might be useful in both instances really, because you can hover around, and I think the consensus I'm seeing is that you go into that fight, if you want to tame it, you want to use its own lightning strikes against it. So the idea is you hover over the corrupted node, bring the lightning down on it, and then quickly dash off. The problem is going to be things like the flock. That can knock you off your mount, so that's the reason I've been getting myself some tech armor. Just the basic stuff. I mean, there's like the resource requirements are pretty high for the stuff I've gotten so far from the Forest Titan boss. I mean, I might at some point so I try and craft that just to see if it improves things, but I want to go up against this just using the basic tech armor. Potentially like try it with a Managama or a Tapejara, see how they compare. So the idea is basically just scouting around looking to see if I can find a reasonable high level one. Two of them to be specific. I mean, I could always settle for just the one and then breed it and just settle for the the stats that it's got, but that doesn't necessarily always prove to be the best strategy, because sometimes you can get high level sort of like dinos and the stats can be pretty naff. They could end up in with like lots of food or high oxygen and that sort of stuff, so they can get wasted. So basically, just to get started, I'm just looking about. I mean, the highest I've seen so far is one of 56, which for this map is pretty. I mean, it's kind of up there. It's higher than like the Managama I found. I mean, I ended up settling for 144 Managama. I still haven't found a decent high level one, but this is a 180 map, so I mean, if I'm going to be doing like a boss fight, I really should be getting higher level ones. So I'm just going to keep looking around and seeing what I can see, and if it comes to it, I'm just going to have to start clearing the lower level ones out. The hopes that a higher level one will then spawn, but it'll take quite a while to do it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just a case of looking around. Ooh, that's a wow. Now that is a nice bright red one, and you're not much use. Okay, that's kind of like familiar. I think that seems to be the thing about ARK, as you go out looking for something, and typically like whatever it is you're looking for will be like low level. I mean, assuming you're looking for something that's high level. So usually the strategy is to have something in your back pocket on your chance you find one of those. I mean, I'm also looking for a Parasor as well. I want a couple of Parasors because I've got an idea for something else as well. But the main focus is going to, at least for now, is the Tapejaras. Oh, I'm in spiders. I wanted to land. Go away. Right, I want to get some stamina. And then we'll start going out looking for some more. Oh, what are you? Oh, 54. Oh, for crying out loud. Right, so we've got our stamina back. So we're going to go out looking again. I mean, there's no point just doing an entire video of me just going wandering around and round and around. I think the best thing is basically I'll just keep looking around, and as and when I find something decent, I'll bring you back. But yeah, I mean, if at any time you do find yourself liking the video, then do please click that like button. because that'll help me out a great deal. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content, then do please subscribe, but just remember to click the little bell icon, and that way you'll get notifications when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments, suggestions, particularly about this Desert Titan fight, then do please post those in the comment section below. But yeah, for now I'm just going to keep wandering around and having a look. I mean, every so often I've seen ones out in the actual wasteland, but most of the time they're in the city. So I'm just going to keep looking, and as and when I find something useful, I'll bring you back. Well, I've decided to bring out the big guns. I mean, I've been looking all over this this city for decent level Tapejaras. Ooh, hang on. What level are you? Oh, 24. Go away. And I can't attack you. Typical. I can't get past the crystal. Oh. No, I mean I was going out with Polly, and we're finding like quite a lot of low level ones. So where I could, I would like literally just jump off Polly and then get the shotgun out and shoot them. Now that's okay for like the 24s, 18s and so on, but when you start hitting things like the 72s, it's kind of impractical, because I mean there was one that I found. It was like round about like level 72 I think it was, and I really couldn't bring it down in time. I mean I took about 3 shots at it, and then it spooked and just flew away, and I just couldn't keep up with it at all. I mean, even if I'd had a tamed Tapejara, I wouldn't have been able to keep up with it. They're just so blowing fast, and it headed out over towards like the snow biome. So I decided to bring Milo here out, because the good thing about him is I mean he can hit things from quite a distance as well. He'll be able to freeze them, and the goal basically at this stage is just to clear out anything that's low level, mediocre level. I don't care. I mean I want like 174s, 180s, 168s maybe at a stretch, but to do that I'm going to have to clear out the lower level ones and just hope that at some point the high level ones will start to spawn. So let's see, what's this one? So you're a 66. I can't blooming see. There we go. Absolute doddle. That's just so much easier. So basically I'm just going to keep wandering around on this city map with Milo, and we're just going to take out these Tapejara. I'm just going to have real fun doing it. It's absolutely brilliant. I really think it would have been a lot better if I'd gotten one of these things much earlier, but I'd settled for a 144. I spent so much time like waiting for like a 180 to spawn, trying to find low level ones that I could get rid of on the map, and it's like I'm sort of regretting that, because I mean I should have gone for like a something of his level much earlier, to be honest. It's absolutely brilliant for taking on the wyverns. I mean you can just freeze them from a good distance, and then I mean you do want to be right up close to them, before you actually kill them, because you've got to be able to jump off and pick the bag up. You've only got like 10 seconds I think to do it. So, but it's I mean I've been up against like was it Gigasaurs who've been fighting and taking on the Parasers and all sorts, just to get things like corrupted hearts and what have you. It's just made life a whole lot easier having this dude. I mean he's only from like a level 144, which to be honest is like pretty low, like when you think this is a 180 map. That's the reason I was kind of like so reluctant to sort of like get anything. Oh dear, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Nah, I'm not sorry. It was, never mind. No, I mean this thing's been brilliant. So I think if I do another playthrough on this one, that's ooh, blimey, look at all them. Oh, we're falling. This is not good. Come here, get up. Up. Seriously, spider? No, these things are absolutely brilliant. They're I'm curious to see how far. Now there's a 114 over there, an 18. What are you? You're a 54. So there's some over there. I mean, I would have probably struggled to take these out if I'd just been on Polly the Parrot and then tried to take them out with a shotgun. This dude's going to be able to take them out from a good distance. What I'm finding, that don't, if you take one of these things out, it doesn't necessarily spook the other ones. So let's see if we can get rid of that one. Okay, I'll tell a lie, it does spook the other ones. I'm sure it didn't before. Bye bye, Tapejara. Oh, I didn't kill it. I could have sworn I killed that one. Well, there you go. You are dead now. Oh, that was a Pteranodon. Never mind. Well, I'm just going to keep on doing this because basically I'm just going to have to keep clearing them out until I get a high level one. So, fingers crossed with all this murder and mayhem, I'll finally come back and I'll be able to find the high level one. So, see you shortly, hopefully. Well, I found one. The trick now is to try to be able to trap it. Normally I'd lure it into a trap. But this stage I'm game for anything, so I don't know what I'm going to pull here, but here goes. Ah! Stay still! Ow, 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 ow! It's a blooming Archaeopteryx or something. Go away! Whatever you are, go away. Seriously, go away. I don't have time for this. Will you go away? Seriously, just go away. I wouldn't care. I thought that had blown up already. Right, so I've managed to knock that out. I hope. You better be the right one. Oh, you are. Thank goodness for that. Whew. Right, okay, so let me go and get Polly Parrot over there. Go away. Seriously, go away. You're not needed. Go away. Get Polly Parrot. Now, I'm trying to remember. The kibble on these, I don't think I've got it on me, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to make do with mutton instead. So if we get, oh, phew, that was lucky. I thought the time, I just saw the timer. I thought Struth, no, she's going to wake up. She's going to end up in cryo sickness, right? So what's your torpidity like? Right, so your torpo's okay. Right, so I don't really care about this thing. Should have brought like a... I don't think that's really something I'm too concerned about. Right. Oh! Stop, 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 stop! Stop, 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 stop! Stay still. I don't want you going running around like a complete idiot and, you know, causing mayhem and mischief to the poor blooming Tapejara over there. I mean, I could have gotten a lot more off that thing, but to be honest, I don't need that much. Right, so I should have really waited until this thing had until it's like food had gone down, to be honest. But what's that on? Right, we'll see how that goes then. So that's 11.5%. So that's not bad for me. I mean, it shouldn't take too long to tame up. So I'm just going to leave it on that. I mean, as I say, I should have really, like, if I'd definitely been like on an official server, I should have waited for the food to go down, and then I would have taken that that Ovis out. But that should be fine. I mean, the mutton on here lasts quite a while. Yeah, I've got well over half an hour. It's gonna. This should be tamed up before then. So basically, it's gonna take a few minutes at least. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pause the video while I keep an eye on this, and then I'll bring you back once it's up. Well, that tamed up pretty well. I mean, I've only lost one level, which isn't too bad. The Tapejara needs Allosaurus eggs. Allosaurus kibble, I should say. And that's my problem, is that I've been having trouble getting eggs out of these Allosaurs. I suppose what I could do is, I could have just gone back and just had them mate, just breed, and then they would have just given me fertilized eggs, because you could still use fertilized eggs. But yeah, I mean that's not too bad. I just fed it with mutton, so I mean one level's not a major disaster. So I've got a female now, so I mean it's taken me ages to find this female, but now I need to find a male. So ideally I want a high level male, otherwise I'm just going to end up having to sort of settle for whatever stats she's got. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a look for another one. So I'm going to be back out and about, and I'll bring you back once I find another one. I'm sure other people have probably already thought this, but I think it'd be a really good idea if Wildcard could introduce a counter for your dinos, or even for the character to tell you like how many things you've killed and like all the different types that you've killed. Because I mean Milo out there, I mean we've been out like for say like 3 solid days, because I was doing this over the weekend to try to get high level Tapejaras. I mean we've been doing like all sorts of aerial acrobatics out there just to clear the area out. We've been going like all the way across from west to east, north to south. We've been going up into the sky, right along the ground, just trying to hunt down like high level Tapejaras that I can breed with. But we just had no joy. We've been clearing tons and tons of low level ones. Just didn't see any decent ones at all that we could breed up. Because the 174, I got one of those. I think that was just sheer luck more than anything. Because that one, that was up on some platform, and I think it's like a little area where there's quite a few seem to spawn over there. And I found another one over on the left. It's really high up. It's like a little bridge, if you will. And there was a lot of them spawned over there, but it's always seems to be lower levels. And I mean I get it with the map, because I think the way Wildcard designed all these is that you get like a lot of low levels and then a very small number of high levels. But I didn't notice it was like skewed as so much, to be honest. I thought there was a reasonable number of high levels, but maybe it's specific to Extinction, because I've never experienced it like this on the island, for instance. I mean normally what I've done is I've just gone out, I've seen like a particular dino I'm looking for. If it was low level, then I'll take it out of the game, and the expectation was, maybe like a high level one would come up. There's probably some probability. You've got like a number from 1 to 30, if you will, that the computer's gonna like roll the dice, so to speak. Pick a number between 1 and 30, and that gets multiplied against your override difficulty to decide, what level dino you get. But they must really take into account the weight to still keep like the low level ones more common, which I mean I can understand. I mean you don't want to make the game too easy, but it's after about like 3 days it started getting really frustrating, because I thought like surely after all of these like low level ones I've been getting rid of, surely I'm going to start seeing some high level ones, but I just didn't. I mean we went over to the desert biome, because I know there was some spawned over there at one point. Couldn't find any there. We did a bit of wandering around the wastelands and didn't really see many up there. Sometimes they can be up on the cliffs and what have you, but no, I didn't really see any there either. So I thought, well, I mean this is just going to take forever. So what I did is I came over to the forest area, and I picked up my S Plus tech transmitter, and I brought that over here, because what sets that one apart from the normal tech transmitter is that you can do a dino scan, and it'll tell you, what types of dino are on the map, and it'll tell you where they are and what their levels are and so on. I mean it's cheaty, yeah, because it gives you like a serious advantage where you can actually be able to track down dinos. Oh yeah, I want a high level dino, alright, let's just go there and I'll find it. But it's just been taking so long that I thought I've had enough. I've really got to get something done here. I'll never get like a video done about Tapejaras. So I brought that over here, and I was amazed. It was actually showing up. It said there was a 174 on the map. It was at 32, 31. So that was about kind of like due south where I've got that little pin for the forest. So like intersects with that one I've got for honey as well. So it was somewhere about there, and I went out there with Milo. I mean, we were up there, and you know, waving hello to raptor claws at times when he was going by, because I kept going back a few times because I just couldn't find it. We went into the forest area to have a look, and I just couldn't get to any like location where I could find this so-called 174 Tapejara that I was looking for. So I came back, and then the next was like there's a 168. So I thought, well, I'll go and have a look for that one. Now that one was at 15.5. I couldn't even find the locations. I was up on the surface, and I was down below the into the sunken forest, because you know it's like the longitude starts about 10. But nope, no joy. I just couldn't find this 168. And I mean, I was starting to come around to the idea that the way the map works is that it doesn't just like roll some random, you know, it doesn't just roll a number between 1 and 30 and then decide, you know, right, well, you know, there's a certain probability it's going to be, you know, an even chance between like 1 and 30. The algorithm's got to be pretty clever enough to sort of like say you know, most of the dinos are going to be low level. It must take that weight into account. So the problem is, if there's high level ones on the map, if they're not removed from the map, the chances of you actually getting a high level one are going to be practically next to impossible, I would have thought. I mean, what was actually interesting as well was there was one dino on that list that had a negative longitude as well. So I thought, well, this is just getting crazy now. So I did a complete dino wipe. Left it a while. So what I did manage to find then was I managed to track down a 174. And that's this one over here. So I found this one, and it was out on the outskirts of the wasteland. So I lured it in with the flowers, and then what we did is I brought it down, and then I just down to ground basically. I was using Polly the parrot to lure it in. We got down to the ground level, and the bowlers didn't work. So whatever that problem with the bowlers was early on in the game, it's still there. So it flew off, so I came back and did another scan, managed to track it down again, and this time we managed to catch it. But it's another female. Yeah, so I'd gotten a female already, and I ended up with another female, so that was I thought, well, that's not much use, but as it turns out, this one's got higher melee and higher health than this one. So then it's a case of, oh, well, fair enough, now all I need is a male. It's got, well, I just need a male, basically, breed them with these two, and at some point I'll get, like, the best stats out of those. So, came back here and did another, oh, yeah, we've got a 174 out on the map. Went all the way out to the desert biome, and it was another female. So I'm like, oh, this game's, like, seriously going against me. It just doesn't want me to find Tapejaras that I need. So, I went and tried for a 168 that was on the map, and as luck would have it, that one turned out it was a male. So I've finally managed to get a male, and I've just been breeding them up. I've spent the last couple of days breeding them up, getting their stats to even up. So I had a pair that I could breed from with the same stats, but I've just had some weird problems where they'd start to mate, then they would suddenly stop. And then they would start to mate, and then they would suddenly stop. So I don't know what's going on there. It just seems to be taking forever. But I've bred all those up now, so it's a case of I've managed to get one male who's got one stat in health. So I'm just going to keep breeding those up. But I mean, that's going to take me a while to do. So what I'm just going to show you is actually this dino scanner. In case you've never seen it. It's quite interesting because it's, I mean, you just hold down the options and it gives you this choice here for a dino scan. You do get a warning saying it won't work properly on single player, because there was a feature that Wildcard introduced for hibernation. So if there isn't much activity in a particular area of the map, that part of the map gets frozen to save CPU cycles. So I'd been playing ARK before that got introduced, so I disabled it anyway, because the problem is, if you go into an area and nothing's spawned in that area anyway, yet you've got to wait a while and for things to spawn. It's particularly noticeable on single player when you've got like the caves to go through, for instance. So it's yeah, it can be a bit frustrating. So I turned the feature off straight away, so it's disabled in my launch parameters. But it is interesting though, because I mean I'm searching for like Tapejaras, and you can see like it tells you like, oh, there's a Tapejara level 174. Here are the locations, coordinates, and if you click on it, it'll give you like a little outline of the map, you know, where you can go and look for it. So it's really handy, to be honest. But it's just, yeah, it is kind of cheaty basically. But it's interesting because you look at the levels, and you can see, I mean, for these Tapejaras, I mean, they're the only two that I would consider to be, you know, reasonably high level worth going for. Anything below that seems pointless. I mean, look at the scroll bar, and it scrolls. There's tons of them. I mean, these ones, I mean, as I say, I mean, dinos, you get like a number from about 1 to 30. They're numbered from 1 to 30, and then you apply your override factor. So for me, the override factor is like 6. The override difficulty, sorry. So that's kind of like, you know, it rolled a 1. Here it rolled a 2. And you can see there's quite a lot. Now we're into 3s. Now we're into 4s. Now we're into 5s. So we're probably about halfway through, and we've only done numbers 1 to 6. So that's a big gap. You're talking about like what, 24 numbers still to go. So there's very few high levels on the map, and I'm coming around to the thought that if these, as long as there's high level ones on, if you keep clearing out the low level ones, the chances of you getting a high level one are going to be extremely slim. Because I mean, these are that is pretty much, you know, that's the mid level. So there's not that many above even the mid level. Because I mean, that's not, if I take that down out the way, that's not even 3/4 of the way down, because I'd consider that's like the middle of the scroll. So it's, yeah, it seems a lot more weighted than I thought, or at least I've certainly noticed anyway. But anyway, I mean, took us about like roughly 3 days, you know, right throughout the weekend, just to be able to find these other two. So I've got a breeding set. I've been doing all the breeding, and now it's just a case I'm just gonna get a few levels, because I've already been at it for about a couple of days. I've taken them over to the desert biome because I've got better facilities for breeding over there than here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pause the video, and I'll just bring you back once we've completed the breeding process, because it's all much of a muchness, to be honest. But I just thought I'd give you that interesting insight of like what it's like trying to find high level dinos on this map, because I'm sure I mean, the way I've normally played ARK is I don't go looking specifically for a high level. I mean, I've gotten a 180 Carno, that was just right out of the blue. I wasn't looking for one of those. I was hunting for like the Velonosaurs, and I saw it. I thought, great, I'll have that. And there was like a 180 Thylacoleo that suddenly showed up on the map while I was trying to tame up a dire bear. And that's what it's mostly been, just luck. But I'm now at the stage of the game where there's not that much left to do. There's only about three types of dinos I'm looking for at the moment. One's extremely rare on the map, so I haven't had much luck even finding one at this stage. The other one is I'm finding a lot of low level ones, so I'm clearing those a lot out, but I'm going to see if I can find any high level ones at all, because I really need a high level one of those as well, so I can use it on the orbital supply drops. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting experience. I mean, especially after going through it on that dino scan, just to see what, you know, how the different levels have been spread out on the map. But anyway, as I say, I'm just going to get back to my breeding, and then I'll bring you back once we're actually done. Well, after some careful selective breeding and a lot of time and effort, we've produced Taffy. Yeah. That's what I decided to call her. It's Taffy the Tapejara. So she's a level 335. I mean, I've leveled her up. She's the offspring of these two. I mean, I was quite lucky that the actual last two that I got, they were twins, a male and a female. So I was able to breed them together straight away. So it's a case of I took those three original Tapejaras that I had, bred them together to get the best stats among them, and that gave me a male and two females, and then I was just breeding from there. And then at one point I got a male that had 1 health, so then I swapped the original male out for him and then started breeding from him. Then I got to a male that had 2 health, so I swapped that one over. I'm not sure. I'll have a look. I didn't keep all of the actual Tapejaras. I can't remember. I don't know whether I went straight to 3 health or I ended up with 2 health and 1 stamina. Mark ones, 3 health. So 3 health, 1 stamina. I don't think I mustn't have kept that one. I didn't keep them all because it was a case of the start. I was starting to. Oh, there you go. There. So they had 2 health. So that's 2 health and 1 stamina. So then we went to 3 health and 1 stamina, and then those 2 popped up as twins with the extra melee. So that was quite fortunate because I then just bred the 2 of them straight together. I mean, along the way I was getting. I think I got only about 1 female that had melee. She had like 1 health, 1 melee, but given that the next one had 2 health, I decided to keep the male that had 2 health instead. But yeah, I mean, it took a fair while to do, because it takes a while to to go through all the eggs and then get one that's got the stat that you want. I mean, you throw away the ones that have got the oxygen, the weight, and the food. Nice colours, I must admit, but I really want realistic stats that I'm going to use. In this case, I was more interested in health and stamina than anything, and so just kept breeding them until I got to this. I mean, 4 levels I think is about as far as I'm going to go, because it takes about like half an hour or something for these things to mature, and that's because I've got the settings turned up, so it just takes quite a while. But now that I've got her, I'm quite keen to test her up against the Desert Titan. So at some point I'm going to have to go back into the cave and summon the Desert Titan out. And I don't think she'll be able to do much in terms of damage. I might be more inclined to like see what she's like, you know, in terms of like trying to tame the actual Desert Titan using her. But what I've been doing is I've made her an actual set of armor. So this is the tech saddle armor. So that's 45 versus what's the normal one? Probably about 20. That's 25. So she's got slightly better armor at least. But I mean, it's not exactly if she's like going to be quiet. I mean, anyone's going to see this thing coming a mile away. I mean, oh, strength. I don't know if it's meant to like scare things off or whether it's just a case of like, you know, she wants to make a bold statement maybe. I could really do this like a mod for this thing, you know, like where it's got like it's like a police siren or something on it. It'd be quite funny then. But anyway, I mean, I've gone pretty much as far as I want to go in terms of getting a Tapejara. I mean, I think if I did test it. I think I was getting something like 261 damage. So I mean, it tears through elements. So I'm gonna have to start getting a lot more element. I've noticed if I go out on those veins, sometimes they get stuck, where you end up with like two hostiles or whatever it is still outstanding or something. There's times where I've just literally sat around twiddling my thumbs for like 20 minutes because nothing turns up. I've gone wandering around the outskirts and there's nope, nothing's coming. So there's times where I've like just given up on that. I've tried converting the element dust. I've now got two gachas that produce element dust. That just takes a long time to do it, so I'm going to just go back to element veins. So I've got an idea to try and tackle the bigger element veins. So that's something I'm going to have to do probably next anyway. But I think if anything, I think Taffy here I think it's probably going to be a case of I'll be using her against the Desert Titan to possibly try and tame it, because I know you've got to target the corrupted nodes or nodules that are on them. You've got to destroy those before you can actually then tame it. So I think it's probably I'll more likely use her for that than actually trying to take down the Titan, because I get the impression those things have got like a lot of hit points. I mean, if this thing's just doing like 261 a shot, I dread to think how many element I would need to be able to take a Titan down with it. But anyway, I mean, I've managed to finally at least get myself a tamed up Tapejara. I mean, she's got full imprinting, so that's good. So she's got the Yeah, she's got 30 damage, 30 resistance, but I get the impression it's more like you'll see her in a... It's like a dance routine more than anything, quite frankly. All these flashy lights, I think that's pretty much is going to end up as. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed watching the this episode. If so, then do please leave a like. And if you want to see more content, you haven't already subscribed, then do please do that. Just remember to click the little bell icon, and then that way you'll get notifications for when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments, suggestions, any other feedback, then do please leave that in the comment section below. But until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye!